Okay, I'm back. This is definitely the last thing I'm gonna do with slope, and I ran into some problems earlier. My PC is dead, so I'm actually using my laptop for this. So horizontal and vertical lines, they are two special cases, and in class we've gone through those, but I think when we get around to actually a question related to it, a lot of people just couldn't do it. So the basic things is horizontal line is going this direction, okay, going that direction. Vertical line is going this direction. So once the basic idea out of the way, we are just going to dive in. And there are the two special cases in the study of linear equation. Obviously they are straight lines, but their slopes are a little bit different. And it makes it confusing. So let's say I want to talk about the horizontal line first. So the horizontal line, as you saw earlier, it should be a line that looks like this. Let's just pick this point. Let's just say this is the horizontal line we are dealing with. And this is 1, 2, 3. This is 3 boxes. And so as good practice again, we're going to write down all of these: x, y, 0, and this is 3. That point way over there, the y-intercept is going to be 3. And the equation for this, y is equal to 3. It doesn't matter where you are, y is always equal to 3. That's what it means. So if I say, well, what is the y value when x is equal to 4, as an example, y is going to be 3. You can tell me the value of y when x is equal to -2, as an example, is still going to be 3. So if you have that idea in mind at the end, you should be able to give me the equation. This straight line is represented by this equation: y is equal to 3. Okay, y is equal to 3. So there are two ways to look at this slope. There are two ways to look at that slope. First one, which is the method I would prefer to use because that doesn't include any kind of calculation. This is actually your slope-intercept form because it starts with y equals. If that's slope-intercept form, this is the slope-intercept form, then I have my b. This is my b, so that's the y-intercept. However, I do not have the m times x, so I do not have that portion. So without the m and x, basically it means m is equal to 0, so which is our slope. So for a horizontal line, the slope is just simply equal to 0. Alright, another way to find it is you can actually look at this diagram. Like the 2 points I picked earlier, I said, oh, this is 4, 3, right? So I can do that as well. I can look at my straight lines on the diagram. I can say, oh, this point is, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm writing that too. Erase this first. This point is going to be 4, 3, and I can pick any other point. This is -2, 3, right? -2, 3. So with these 2 points, I can actually toss these 2 points into my slope equation. So my m is equal to 3 minus 3 divided by 4 minus -2. So I'll get like a 0 over 6. 0 divided by whatever number, you'll get 0. So there are two ways to do it. You can use the slope-intercept form, or you can use the slope equation itself, or just remember this: if a line is horizontal, then the slope is equal to 0. Okay, so that's the first bit, and it's the special case, and we'll get to that very soon. So horizontal line, slope equal to 0. Next one, vertical line. Just like how I did that the other way, I can show you. vertical line is going to be something like this. Let's not pick 3 again, let's just pick 2 this time. Why? What's going on? Start well over here, it goes all the way down there, so that's like a vertical line. And of course I want to talk about the equation first. The equation itself, this time it doesn't matter where you go, your x is always going to be 2, right? Doesn't matter where you go. I can go on this y-axis, I can say, well, when y is equal to 3, my x is going to be 2. When my y is equal to 6, my x is still going to be 2. So it doesn't matter where you go, your x is equal to 2. So that actually gives you the equation. So x is equal to 2, way over there. Or you can remember it another way, anything that's vertical is starts with x. But then it's kind of like counterintuitive, because we've been dealing with linear equation, we always have something start with y, and it makes vertical line the special case for the slope. So x is equal to, so we are going to talk about the slope. This one is a little bit tricky, as in we need to understand what it means by divided by 0. So and why is that? Obviously this is not a slope intercept form, it's not giving us any kind of information, so we do have to use the slope formula. So I'm going to just pick these 2 points that we used earlier. X is 2, y is, that's 3, that's 6. So this is my first point. My second point is my x is 2, my y is going to be 3. So I'm going to use these 2 points, 2 and 6, 2 and 3 for my slope formula. So m is equal to 3 minus 6. I don't know why I'm writing that 6. I just said 3. Alright, what is the shortcut for this? I'm tired of going back and forth. So 3 minus 6, I'm sorry about that. 2 minus 2. 3 minus 6 is going to be negative 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. So whenever you're dividing by a 0, if you use a calculator, it will say is error. No solution, error, because we cannot divide by 0. So this will give you an error or no solution. Now, that sounds just, everything as a number. This one doesn't come with it. This one is basically saying that we cannot do it. Okay, but it actually kind of makes sense too if we are thinking back about what it means by slope. Slope, basically we are talking about how steep a line is. Okay, so a line could be let's go back and hopefully I can show you what I mean by that. A line basically means, if we are talking about the slope, we can talk about what is the angle that is forming. Okay, so down here, that's the angle forming your straight line. We are talking about how steep this line is. Okay, that's medium steep, that's not very steep, that is quite steep, until you hit to this like vertical line. Okay, that's beyond being steep. Nobody can climb up over there. Nobody, Spider-Man is not real. So when we get to the vertical line, the slope is actually an error. We can't really climb up a slope that is basically a vertical line, and so it does fall into the understanding of slope why that is not the case. So that two special cases are very important. Horizontal line, the slope at the end is just going to be 0. If it's a vertical line, you actually don't have a number for it. It's going to be an error. Now let's just look into 2 questions that are related to this, and it was in one of your assignment, and I changed the wording a little bit because I just want you guys to be able to deal with situation that may not always be the point slope form. So let's say we have this one. They said when an equation for the line that contains the point 1, 9 and is parallel to x is equal to 8. So we have I would draw this out first, okay, just to get some understanding what they are trying to say. I have this line which is x is equal to 8. So it doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter where you go. Is going to be 8. So let's say this is 8. So it doesn't matter where your y is. This is going to be your equation. They gave us this equation. Okay, this is x is equal to 8. Then they said when an equation for the line that contains this point 1, 9 and is parallel. Okay, that's the key word over there. It has to be parallel, right? So I want a line that's parallel to this x is equal to 8. All right, it's either on this way, that way, over there, and it contains the point 1, 9. So it has to contain the point 1 and 9. Let's call this 9. All right, it has to contain this point. So that means if we are going to draw this vertical line, it has to go through this point, right? So we can draw this line. Let's just draw it. I know it's not perfect, it's not straight. And so the question basically asks you, look at this red line. After you draw it, give me the equation for this. Obviously, this equation has to be x again, and it's cutting through which point on the x-axis? 1. Therefore, your answer is this. X is equal to 1. So this one is a little bit more difficult. It doesn't always use the point slope form or slope intercept form. You have to think outside of that mode of, I just toss an equation in there and call it good. In this scenario, you do have to draw it out. You do have to understand what it means by parallel. If you can do it, we're good. Next one is a little bit different, as in this word is different. Nothing else is different from the previous question. This time it says when an equation for the line that contains the point 1, 9 and is perpendicular to x equal to 8. So I'm just going to quickly draw it first. So x is equal to 8. That didn't change anything from one question to the other one. So x is over here. We're going to draw this vertical line right in the middle, right there. But this time we want a line that is perpendicular to this. So the line has to be going that direction. So it's definitely going to be a horizontal line. We just have to figure out where that thing is. So I want 1, 9. So let's say this is 1, 9 is all the way over here. This is my 1, 9. This time I want to draw a horizontal line that is going to at least touching this point. That's basically what the question is saying. So my red line is this. Can I hit that point? Yes. So that is going to be 90 degrees. Okay. So with this information, this is 1. So the y-intercept is going to be 9, right? So we have to be able to write this equation. So it doesn't matter where you go for this red line, your y value will always be 9. It doesn't matter where you go, it's always going to be 9. So your answer is going to be y is equal to 9. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter. I'm glad that I actually get this whole thing done in about, I started somewhere around last Saturday. So I'm very happy that we actually get this done, and this is the last video on the slope, and I hope it's going to be useful. Bye for now.